Hello! Welcome. It is a new class time. It is October. Every birthday they do a new class, and we have these skills for a new class. I already read through this on stream, so if you want my first initial impressions, they weren't the greatest. I'm a little mixed on the class as a whole after reading through it, but let's go through them quickly. I'll give my quick thoughts on this. This shouldn't be too long of a video. So, how to unlock the class is important. I actually skipped over this. I assumed it was going to be some annoyingly long grind like it normally is for new classes, but no, you can actually buy this from the Quibble. There will be a rare color customizable martial artist version. The last time they did this for a class was like a vampire class a long time ago, I think. There might have been another one in between there. Was there a Lord of Order maybe had a color custom? Was it even a CC rare? It was just a normal version, right? So cool color custom rare version of it available in the birthday rare or collection chest. There will be a collection chest next week coming out. So that, on top of also being able to farm it, it says you will need to defeat enough frog zards, gorilla fins, and dragons. How many? That will be up to the master to decide. So yeah, I don't know if that's gonna be a lot or what, but the fact that they're letting you buy it means that the farm might actually not be too bad. Maybe it will. I don't know, but it's speculation on that at this point. So up here, the first paragraph says martial artist is a late game single target dodge class that utilizes 3 fighting stances based on some of the most iconic monsters, the Frogzard, Gorillafin, and Dragon. The stance you take changes the effects of your other skills, meaning there is more than one way to play the class. So that's the description of the class. And let's go through the skills. So it is very unique in the way it handles, and you'll understand that after we read the auto attack. So enhancement, luck, dodge melee, stat model, mana regen, all skills except pummel regain 100 mana when used, affected by mana consumption. So your first skill is pummel. This is your auto attack. This will target one target melee, 50 mana cost at a 0.5 second cooldown. And it will strike your target with a powerful punch. Applies different effects based on your current stance. Can't miss. Must be pressed in order to use. So a non-automatic auto attack. This won't fire off unless you manually press it. Your punches apply different effects based on the stance you're in, but you can only punch 2 times, in all caps, max before needing to swap stances. That sounds very painful. If I'm going to be completely honest, that sounds painful to use, but hey, unless, especially because it's 0.5 second cooldown and you can only use it twice before you have to change, and then all the other skills have like 10-second cooldowns. So, and this is also the only skill on martial artist that deals damage to your target. So be sure to keep using it, or else you won't be anywhere. And if we look at the other ones, so 4-second cooldown, 4-second cooldown, 10-second cooldown, 40-second cooldown. So you probably could still spam out damage with this, but then 0.5, so half a second cooldown on this one. So kind of iffy. It might feel a little weird. I don't know. Have to get it. This is the kind of class where you really you're gonna have to feel it, actually use it to get a feel for how that's gonna play out. But I don't think from reading this you're really gonna be able to tell. But could be alright. It might not be as bad as you might think from reading that. Okay, the first stance is the Frogzard Crushing Jaw. This itself, it gives you 100 mana. It's 4-second cooldown. Targets 1. This, and like none of the skills do any damage other than the first one, like it says here. So, but what this does do is assume a Frogzard stance, causing pummel to reduce your target's damage resistance by 5% up to 6 stacks. Frogzard based stances also heal you over time. While active, if you already have another mixed stance active, it's consumed and applied effect changes. So Gorillafin is 8%. This is what happens if it consumes one of the other stances. Well, if you have Gorillafin already active, it's going to give you 8% outgoing damage up to 6 stacks, which lasts 20 seconds. And if you have Dragon already active, it's going to give you minus 10% hit chance up to 2 and crit chance up to 2 stacks. So I didn't really understand that when I first read it, but it kind of makes sense now. So if you already have one of the other ones active, gives you another kind of buff if you activate a different one on top of that. So if that makes sense, hopefully I'm explaining that right. So the Frogzard stance is all about reducing your target's defenses. With Frogzard based stance, you'll passively heal and your pummel will reduce one of your target's defensive stats. If you already have another stance active, instead of entering Frogzard stance, you enter a mixed stance which causes pummel to apply an effect based on that stance instead. Any active mixed stances are overtaken when a stance skill is used, so you can easily alternate between different stances whenever you want. Hopefully this makes sense. Anyway, so Gorilla Fin beatdown is the next one, so it's all the same, 4-second cooldown. I think the only thing that really changes in between is the cooldown. It's all like self-buffing things. Assume a Gorilla Fin stance, causing your punches to increase your crit damage by 15% up to 6 stacks. Very good. Gorilla Fin based stances also increase your crit chance by 50% while active. That's flat and really nice. If you already have another non-mixed stance active, it's consumed and applied effects changes. Frog's Art is 5% physical up to 6 stacks, and Dragon is 15% outgoing damage and haste up to 2 stacks, with the effects lasting 20 seconds each as well. The Gorilla Fin stance is all about dealing damage, while the Gorilla Fin based stance, you'll have an increased chance to crit, and your pummel will increase your damage based stats. Okay, Soaring Dragon. This one has a 10-second cooldown, so it's longer than the other two here, which are both 4 seconds. So this one's assumedly better from the longer cooldown. Assume a dragon stance, causing your punches to apply a spinning dragon to your target, reducing their next hit to 0. Cool. Dragon-based stances also increase your damage resistance by 30% when active. If you already have another non-mixed stance active, it's consumed and applied effects. So Frog's Art is 5% dot resist and dot stacks to 6. And Gorilla Fin is 8% physical damage, stacking to 6 as well. The Dragon stance is all about mitigating your target's damage. While in Dragon stance, your damage resistance is increased and your pummel will reduce one of your target's offensive-based stats. With the most notable debuffs being Spinning Dragon, which reduces the next hit the target deals to 0. You can apply it twice in a row if you delay your punches. So pretty cool. Making the enemy do 0 damage could be very helpful in certain situations. So the last skill, Concentration, has a 40-second cooldown. This is your 5th skill here. Concentrate. Healing yourself and applying fully focus for 7 seconds. While active, fully focus reduces mana cost by 100%, but each strike from pummel increases your mana cost by 10%. It has a long cooldown, but it's worth it. After receiving what should be full heal, you can use pummel almost as much as you want, allowing you to quickly stack your stance's pummel effects while also just dishing out a whole bunch of damage. So, just spamming pummel. Sounds fun. Hopefully that's this is probably what's going to make or break the class, whether this feels good or not, I imagine. And then the passives are 30% haste, 30% dodge, and 20% endurance. So read the conclusion, and that's it. If you want my first impressions, they were quite a bit more negative. I don't know, I was in a negative mood on stream, I guess. But you check that out on the stream VOD if you really care. But anyway, Martial Artist is a rather complex but rewarding class that requires a constant swapping of stances in order to apply a wide variety of effects and damage large amounts of damage. Each stance has its own use, but when combined, the full potential of Martial Artist can be brought out. Generally, starting a fight with Dragon stance allows you to set up first debuffing your target's offensive power, which allows for an easier application of either Frog's Art or Gorilla Fin based stances. But if you're feeling dangerous, you can always start with a damage-oriented stance instead. As this class requires some strategy and more button inputs than the average class, especially due to its manual auto attack, we want the class performance to reflect the effort and difficulty it takes to use. So it might perform a bit better than other classes in its category. I'm not sure what they define by its category once perfected. Can you master martial artists? Hard training pays off, and it's no different in this case. So they say it does a bit better than other classes in its category. I'm not sure what they mean by its category. Is that single target classes? Is that because they describe it as a late game? Is that late game classes? Like, I don't know what its category exactly is, but sounds promising. I do like the fact that they're actually selling birthday classes again for ACs and do the what could be a terrible grind. I like that. I very much do. I'm a fan. Big fan. Massive fan. I'm sad they stopped doing that for quite a few years. So yeah, it's all good. Looks decent. This will be for the birthday. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. I'd like to read them. Do you think this will be worth your time to grind or pick up? I really, like I said before, I really think it's going to make or break whether or not this is fun. this doesn't feel that great, the fifth skill that lets you like spam out the other ones, if that doesn't feel great, I don't think the class as a whole will feel great. So I think that skill is going to really carry, make or break this class. So we'll see though. I'm just speculation basically at this point because I have to see it in game. We also did get a look at the skill art, so I'll show that really quickly. I probably used it for the thumbnail, so you probably already seen it, but Class Council has a look at the skill art. Looks pretty clean. It's lay art like the other preview we got, of course. So Lay's probably doing class art, skill art, all that junk. Don't know if he's doing the animations as well, but hey, we'll probably see that within the next week. I'll keep you guys updated on that. So thank you for tuning into this. Comment down below what you think of the class. All that junk, it helps out. Like, subscribe, share it, 5 stars, put it on your Pinterest. Bye-bye.